Okay, so today I'm going to be starting a Dynasties series. First one I'm going to be covering is the 2010's Chicago Blackhawks Dynasty. They won the Stanley Cup 3 times in 2010, 2013, and 2015. All final series went to 6 games, which is pretty impressive that it only went to 6 games each and every time. So in 2010, they finished with a record of 52, 22, and 10, first in their division of the Central, second overall in the West. In round 1, they faced Nashville, and they won that series 4-2. Lost game 1, 4-1. Won game 2, 2-0. Lost game 3, 4-1. Won game 4, 3-0. Won game 5 in overtime, 5-4. Won game 6, 5-3. Total goals for that series was 14 in their favor and 15 against, so they lost in the goals count. In round 2, they faced Vancouver, the 3rd seed. They won that series in 6 games. They lost game 1, 5-1. Won game 2, 4-2. 3, 5-2. And game 4, 7-4. Before losing game 5, 4-1. And then they won game 6 to close out the series 5-1. Total goals scored in that series were 23 in their favor, 18 against. In round 3, conference finals, they beat the number 1 seed San Jose Sharks 4-0. They won game 1, 2-1, game 2, 4-2, game 3, 3-2 in overtime, and game 4, 4-2. They won the total goals in the series, 13 in their favor, 17 against. In the Stanley Cup Final, they faced the Eastern 7th seed of Philadelphia. They won game 1, 6-5. Game 2, 2-1. They lost game 3 in Philadelphia, 4-3 in overtime. They lost game 4, 5-3. They won game 5, 7-4, and they won game 6, 4-3 in overtime on a Patrick Kane goal on the side of the net. Total goals in that series were 25-22. The total goals scored in their entire playoff run were 75 in their favor, 62 against them. That was their first cup. In 2013, they had a shortened season, so their record is not going to be as big as the other two. They had 36 wins, 7 losses, and 5 in overtime. They finished first overall in the entire league. They won the President's Trophy that year. In round 1, they faced the 8th-seeded Minnesota Wild. They won that series in 5. They won 2-1, game 1 in overtime, 5-2, game 2. They lost game 3 in overtime, 3-2. They won game 4, 3-0. And they lost game 5. They won game 5, 5-1. Total goals were 17-7 in their favor. Round 2, the last meeting between these two in the playoffs so far. It was against 7th seed Detroit, 4-3. They won game 1, 4-1. Then proceeded to lose the next 3, 4-1, 3-1, and 2-0. So they were behind 3-1. They won game 5, 4-1, won game 6, 4-3, and then won game 7 in overtime, 2-1. As expected, the total goals in this series were very close, 16 in their favor, 15 against. In round 3, they faced the defending Stanley Cup champions, the Los Angeles Kings. They won that series 4-1. Won game 1, 2-1. Won game 2, 4-2. Lost game 3, 3-1. Won game 4, 3-2. And they won game 5 in double overtime, 4 goals to 3. The total goals in that series were 14 in their favor and 11 against. In the Stanley Cup Final, they faced the Eastern 4th seed, the Boston Bruins. They won that series in 6. Game 1 went triple overtime, 4-3. Game 2 also went to overtime. Boston won that one 2-0, 2-1. Boston won Game 3 2-0. Chicago won Game 4 6-5, Game 5 3-1, and Game 6 3-2. The total goals scored in that series were 17-15. In the entire 2013 run, they went 64 to 48 in their favor. In 2015, their most recent win, they had a record of 48, 28, and 6. They finished third in their division in the Central, fourth in the West. In round 1, they faced the Nashville Predators. They won that series in 6. 4 goals to 3 in double overtime in the first game. They lost Game 2 6-2. They won Game 3 4-2. They won Game 4 3-2 in triple overtime. They lost Game 5 5-2. They won Game 6 4-3 to close out the series. In the second round, round 1, the total goals were 17 in their favor, 21 against, so they lost that total goals area. In the second round, they faced the wild card Minnesota Wild. They swept that series 4-3, 4-1, 1-0, and 4-3. Total goals scored in that series were 13-7. Yeah, they laid a beating. Round 3, they faced the Anaheim Ducks. They lost Game 1 4-1. They won Game 2, their longest game in their history, 3 goals to 2 in triple overtime. They lost Game 3 2-1. They won Game 4 5-4 in double overtime. A lot of overtimes in this Blackhawks history. They lost Game 5 5-4 in overtime. They won Game 6 5-2. And they won Game 7 5-3. Total goals scored were 24-22. So very close. Round 4, or the Stanley Cup final, against Tampa Bay. They won that series in 6. They won Game 1 2-1. They lost Game 2 4-3. They won Game 3 3-2. They won Game 4 2-1. They won Game 5 2-1. And they won Game 6 2-0. Total goals scored in that round were 15-11 in their favor. The final total for the entire run, 2015, 69-61. So their highest scoring total goals were 75-62 in 2010. Their worst record was in 2013 when they won the President's Trophy, ironically, of 36-75. Their worst division finish was in 2015, coupled with their worst conference finish of 4th. They played Nashville in 2010 and 2015. They played Minnesota in 2013 and 2015. And they played Philadelphia, Boston, and Tampa in the final. 3 teams, all directly on the Eastern Coast. They played a California team in each conference final: San Jose, LA, and Anaheim. And that about wraps it up. So that is the 2010 Chicago Blackhawks Dynasty.